spark in the air, a melody, a dream to share. Through castles tall, through skies so wide, the music's where the magic hides.
A whistle, a hum, a drum beats call.
The songs we love,
They build it all. The music behind the magic. Oh, where every story starts to glow.
Hello and welcome to episode 59 of the Music Behind the Magic podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan Goodman, and as always, I'm here to celebrate with each and every one of you the magic of Disney songs, scores, and soundtracks from the movies to the parks. So it's one thing to love Disney songs. It's another to be able to play Disney songs. But it's a whole other level to write and perform original music about Disney songs, drawing upon the fandom's collective passion for history and nostalgia and providing a musical outlet for those emotions. Today, we're joined by an incredibly talented singer, musician, and voice actor, Noah Sunday-Lefkowitz, who has built a substantial online and in-person following by writing clever and innovative hyper-niche medleys of Disney songs and original songs about the movies, TV shows, and park attractions as well. We talk about Noah's background, his career at Disney, and his calling as a writer and a performer. But before we begin, if you are enjoying this podcast, and I do hope that you are, I would only ask that you continue to share it with the Disney music fans in your life so our audience and our community can continue to grow. And if you happen to think I've earned it, please leave a good rating and a quick review so others can find it as well. If there's a topic or a guest you would like to hear about, drop me a line and let me know via email at jonathan@musicbehindthemagic.com, or just to say hi, or message me on Instagram. You can also join our Facebook community and subscribe to our newsletter at musicbehindthemagic.com/newsletter. So as we kick off today's show, sit back, think about your favorite obscure Disney song, long gone Disney attraction, or Disney Channel theme song, and enjoy this episode of the Music Behind the Magic podcast.
Here's some obscure Disney songs. Try your best to sing along. Name or guess each melody from A to Z.
Who's that messing up everything? It's been Agatha all along.
We are absolutely delighted to be joined today by Noah Sunday-Lefkowitz. Noah is a songwriter, performer, music director, voice actor, and content creator who has had an extensive career with the Walt Disney Company and has produced music and recorded voiceovers not only for Disney, but for many other well-known companies. As a content creator, Noah has built a recognizable brand to any Disney Parks fan, including myself. Affectionately known as the Medley Guy, Noah arranges hyper-niche Disney medleys, writes original songs for attractions that don't have songs, and performs extinct or forgotten Disney Parks music. With over 130,000 followers online, Noah has performed his live show Calling All Dreamers to sold-out crowds in Anaheim and Orlando. Noah, it is so great to have you. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. Thrilled to be on such a podcast with a theme so close to my heart.
And that's why I am so glad you're here to talk about everything you do musically. And maybe what I always like to do, particularly with such Disney-focused people, is tell me your origin story. What is the Disney origin story that sparked your love with the company?
Yeah, I grew up in Pennsylvania, so I did the long day's journey down to Walt Disney World, and I was fortunate to take that trip almost annually with my family, and it was always fun, and I was always into it. There wasn't a terrible twos in terms of learning like this thing, but I do remember when I was 10 years old reading a Disney trivia book and talking about the Haunted Mansion, the ghosts in the ballroom, talking about Pepper's ghost. And in that moment, I remember realizing, oh, the ghosts are created. Oh, there are people creating ghosts. Oh my gosh, this is like a career. This is an art form. And I got obsessed immediately and started recreating effects from the Haunted Mansion for Halloween in my yard at 10, 11 years old, and reading all of the books and all of reading doombuggies.com in the internet's infancy, and just becoming a super fan like so many of us. And growing up in Pennsylvania, we would only travel there often. And so the way I really got my parks fill in the interim was listening to the Disney Parks CDs.
Sure.
And that was my parks experience, listening to these in the car on the way to the grocery store. And it gave me actually a parks experience that I couldn't have had in person because I was listening to songs like Listen to the Land or Veggie Veggie Fruit Fruit, which were actually removed from the parks before I was born. But since the primary way I was interacting with the parks were these CDs, it felt like that was part of my parks experience. And so I fell in love with the music, some of which I had never even heard in person.
You were there. At first it sounds like almost like the engineering, recreating some of the attractions, but then the music part kicks in. While you love the music, did you know you had some kind of musical talent there, or when did that kind of come to the forefront?
I was always a musical kid, and my parents, I give them full credit for being just nothing but supportive. I think I was in violin lessons in choral groups starting when I was 3 or 4 and graduated to guitar, that graduated to self-teaching piano, graduated to actually learning piano. And so I'm nothing if not musical through and through. That's really, that's what I have to offer this world, and that's okay. So I was into music my whole life, and I was listening to those CDs my whole life. I remember the Disney Jewel Tone Disney Classic CDs.
Sure.
And I think I still know the order of the songs. There are certain songs when I hear Be Our Guest End, I know what should come next because it's just built into my brain. I was always into that. I was listening to Park CDs my whole life. And I guess it just was the natural progression of once I learned that all of these effects were created by people and that these parks were created by people. The next evolution was, I guess people wrote all this music, because I always, as a kid, always assumed the parks felt like they were always there. It was like a Grand Canyon. It was just, it's always there. I assumed that they were open 24 hours because I never saw them closed as an 8-year-old.
Sure.
And music similarly felt like traditionals. It's a Small World is timeless. Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow existed in the Stone Age. It must have to have that realization of, no, they were guys who were around when your parents were young who created all this stuff. It was like, oh man, these guys are creating culture here. They're creating an identity for this whole experience. The fact that it was created from nothing really got me fascinated, and it still does.
And music piece comes to the forefront. You had a musical background. You studied music in college? You were a musical theater person, right?
Yes, I was a musical theater major, yeah.
So you began really studying music earnest and all the pieces, parts of it. Talk about how you parlayed your musical background and education into your first job at Disney. How did that happen? Because it must have been the holy grail, right?
Wild and unlike any turn of events I could imagine. I will say that Disney and music have always been my parallel paths. They seem to cross a lot. When I first started taking piano lessons, I had a very unorthodox teacher who would just come in and say, oh, what do you want to learn? And as a 12-year-old, I was like, I want to learn Billy Joel and Disney songs. And I would present the music I wanted to learn, which was Moving Out and Listen to the Land. I mentioned this earlier, that the internet just getting going. And so for a lot of that more niche or obscure music, the sheet music didn't exist, or at least didn't easily exist. And so my teacher, to his credit, taught me how to listen to songs, dictate them, to write out the chords, write out the melody. And in retrospect, I do think that is what got me started writing music, doing a lot of stylistic pastiches, which is I love to do.
Yeah.
Because at a certain point, you start listening to songs, you start learning patterns, you start learning tropes, and you go, if these are just puzzle pieces being put together, I can probably put puzzle pieces together. And if puzzle piece A, B, and C makes it sound like this genre, and puzzle piece D, E, and F sound like this genre, I could probably put these puzzle pieces together. And so that's how that got started. And fast forward to college, I had heard about the Disney college program, ended up doing my college program. I did do that, and I had
Yeah,
a
okay,
wonderful
which
time.
is awesome. Yeah.
But in college, I remember Hamilton coming out when I was a sophomore,
Yeah.
and researching Lin-Manuel Miranda and finding out that he started writing In the Heights when he was 19 in college. And I went, I'm 19 in college, and I've always wanted to write a musical. I guess I have no excuse now. And I was like, I got to write what I know. And so I ended up writing a musical about the relationship between Walt and Roy Disney during the creation of Disneyland, Epcot, and ultimately Walt's death. And that was the first of many instances in the next several years where I was able to put those two things together, that my skills and my knowledge are in music and my passions are in themed entertainment and Disney history, and I just put them all on the table with that one show, which is eventually where my song Carousel came from.
Yeah.
And show has yet to see the light of day outside of a college campus, but it'll get there.
I bet you there's more interest there than you give credit for.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Let me know. All that, I did all of that. And then when I came back from my college program, my friend Andrew Carey, who I will never stop name dropping and giving him credit, because he came to me in college and said, do you want to do this thing called the Walt Disney Imaginations competition? Now, I had been an Imagineering nerd all my life, but this thing had slipped through the cracks and I didn't know what it was. It's a design competition put on by Imagineering as a way to scope out new talent. And I was a theater performer and writer. He was a theater designer, everything in tech realm. And he had the confidence for us to just build a team of two and create something and submit it. And long story short, we got to the finals. Disney flew us and 5 other teams out to California to pitch our project and ourselves. We ended up getting internship interviews, and I was fortunate enough, along with many of my peers and Andrew as well, to be offered internships and be like just pushed into career immediately out of college, which was not only a dream come true, but also just so confusing because I'm a theater major. What am I going to do in this office? And I had never had an office job. I had barely had a real job out of college, and joined Imagineering producer intern on the Disneyland portfolio under a wonderful man named Jeff Shaver-Moskowitz. And that role gave me the opportunity to look at themed entertainment from 30,000 feet. Because a producer, I was worried that coming from theater, that producer meant money. But he came from theater as well, and he was talking about how the producer role in themed entertainment is really just fueling the fire, the creatives trying to funnel them down to idea works, and we can all take action with.
Sure.
And getting that 30,000 foot education is unbelievably valuable. And then when I got hired full time, I got into live entertainment development, which was like my people.
Yeah, the
that
dream
was
come
like
true.
after being in the office and being people suits and ties a lot of the time, I went across the street to live entertainment. And I was like, oh, they're the guys that are making theater for $25 in 2 weeks. Those are the people that I remember going to school with. And so that was wonderful work under a man named Dan Fields, work on the development for all the live entertainment for the Avengers campuses in Paris and in Anaheim. And then my third job was in the casting department. I have always been a nerd and Disney nerd, but that all goes together to be a voice actor nerd for the theme parks.
For sure.
And so getting the opportunity to work the casting department, which casts any pre-recorded dialogue that you hear in the parks, was just dream to not only get to be involved, but also to work with some of my voice acting idols. I got to work with Jim Cummings and Corey Burr. Incredible. Corey, my voice acting like star. He's so cool. And I got to be a part of him recording some Disneyland parking lot tram stuff. And if that's not a nerd's dream, I don't know what is. So my tenure at Imagineering for about 3 years. And I was nothing but a kid in a candy store. I got coffee with so many people just trying to learn what everybody did. Because I didn't know why I got there. It felt they could realize I'm a fraud at any moment. That's how it felt. Sure. And so I really thought I owed it to myself to really just pick everybody's brain and learn how this industry works. Because at the time, I didn't know where I fit. I have an education in musical theater. I wasn't actually using that, and I wanted to.
Yeah.
I really was trying to figure out where I fit, and I was so passionate about the product, I was trying to also find where I could be passionate about my day-to-day work. Not that I didn't love what I did, but like I have skills that I want to utilize.
Sure.
And long story as short as I can possibly
Yeah.
be, that's kind of what I tried to do once the COVID layoffs happened and we all disappeared, where that side of the story starts.
So yeah, it's a perfect transition. So you're right. Everything goes to heck in a handbasket, right? Everyone's stuck in Zoom behind their computers. How did you then parlay that into, I know you voice acting work as well, but then I also want to get to medleys in your music. So maybe talk
Yeah.
about the voice acting and then we'll kind of go into the real fun stuff.
The voice acting, it's just something I'd always wanted to do. And I knew, having worked in the voice department, that I knew I had learned a lot about the other side of the booth. And so I was able to take that and guide myself a little bit in terms of having been a casting associate. What do people look for? What are some ways that you can stand out in auditions? What are demo techniques? Things like that. At no point do I think I've cracked the code, but I do think that the education was certainly valuable. And the whole social media thing came about simply because I was just trying to find my identity.
Yeah.
I would be telling a lie if I didn't say that it was a hard blow for all of us have gotten a dream job shockingly early in our careers and having a sense of pride associated with that, and then having it lost hard because you develop a sense of self around it.
Of
And
course.
I think in retrospect, it was a healthy thing to be to find who I am outside of it, for sure. But it was a bit of a process. And what I ended up figuring out was I wasn't actually I wasn't using the skills that I wanted to do on a daily basis. So I guess now is the time to figure out how to do that. That if I was given this opportunity to start again, because again, this happened, I was 25, 6. I was still technically a young person then.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's just go full force on the music thing. We're all stuck here. Let me just try recording some stuff. And it was my partner, Taryn, that pushed me towards TikTok, saying, hey, I know you want to develop a catalog of work. I know you want to develop a resume. You should do it in an entertaining way online. And Defunct Land was having a talent show, a talent competition in 2021. And I had been writing medleys my whole life. It's a weird little niche.
Have you been? So I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, please interrupt me and ask about that.
No, I absolutely want to ask you about that because I want to ask about it on a couple of different levels, right? So medleys are interesting because conceptually, they require a lot of cleverness and wordplay, but musically, there's a lot of arrangement and complexities involved as well to make it all go together. So, start with a concept. What kind of medleys did you start with before any of these came to be?
When my piano teacher asked me what I want to do, I was Billy Joel and Disney songs. So my 7th and 8th grade talent shows, I was doing Billy Joel and Elton John medleys. And that was who I was at the time. It was, the parents knew me. Oh, you're the kid with the Elton John medley. And it was a way for me to pay tribute to the things that I loved. I tend to hyperfixate on things that I enjoy, and to get to build a sort of 6-minute masterclass of the 12 what I considered greatest hits of whatever artist was a really fun piece for me to put together. And I don't even really think that at the time I thought about the technique involved. It's so unhelpful, but it just fell out that I'm like, okay, I was learning about music theory in school, and so I know the relationships between keys, and I know if I do 5 of 5 to 5 and then don't go, there's all these things that they're colors on my palette that I can pull from. And I just started putting these things together in ways that I thought sounded good. And it worked. So I had been writing medleys my whole life, and then I started doing them online.
And when you did them online, did it start with Disney or did you do non-Disney first and then evolve to
I
Disney?
didn't do any non-Disney medleys. I
Yeah.
had put on non-Disney music. You know,
Yeah.
I had a bunch of Billy Joel covers. I had a bunch of Broadway covers, still very much in the home self-tape
Sure.
2020 era.
Yeah.
But the first Disney medley I put online was for that Defunct Land talent show. And what I realized very quickly, I end up winning the talent show. I put that online, and
Amazing.
it did very well.
Yeah.
And in it doing very well, it allowed a light bulb to go off of, the medleys are in a format that's very similar to two things: a fireworks show
Ah,
and a game.
oh,
And those are two very good things on social media, because if you claim that something is obscure Disney medley, the word obscure is immediately a challenge. It
okay.
immediately is a you versus me. Oh, you think you're claiming this is obscure? I'm going to listen to this so I can see that I'm smarter than you.
I know all those songs and I'll prove it to you.
And so when I do a medley of things that are legitimately obscure, you either learn some stuff or you feel validated. And
Yeah.
they're both really good things, and they also are things that keep people engaged. And
Yeah.
so I started to gamify this process of claiming things are obscure, or how many songs can I fit into a 3-minute video, because that was the cap at that point.
Yeah.
And that's how that happened. It just became a bit of a game, and I tried to put music on. If I ever said something was obscure, or if I ever titled anything with a claim like that, I tried to make sure that it held true to that claim, because there's so much content out there that it's like 5 obscure Disneyland facts, and it's like, did you know about this half white and half red bulb? And I'm like, all right, you can't claim these are obscure. So I try the nerd in me tries to do right by the other nerds, to say, you know what, you want obscure? How about the Sherman Brothers song that they wrote for Horizons that never got in?
There you go. Yeah. Suck on that.
It's not a boastful thing.
I know.
It's like, you want fruit? Here is the most bountiful harvest I can possibly give you. I hope you enjoy.
And also, not only are they all super clever and fun and challenging and thought-provoking, but again, you're able to, like, for a Muppets thing, you could do your Kermit the Frog, you can do Miss Piggy. You're able
that
to
helps keep people entertained.
You are able to inject a layer of authenticity to it because your voice is so talented, you're able to engage and become all those characters.
That's very kind of you.
Yeah.
That's definitely, again, just in terms of, I want to ask myself, I'm part of this community. How can I provide for this community in a way that I feel unique is a strong word, but like, how can I use the things that I think I'm good at to add something to this fandom, to this community? And it does feel, in retrospect, it does feel like the perfect storm of a performance outlet that I've also arranged, that I've been doing my whole life with the Medleys thing, on a topic that I am so interested in, and then could perform at a high level because I have a performance background and a voiceover background. It all fell together. And whenever people ask me, how do I get started on social media? I'm like, find the thing that only you can offer, because it's so oversaturated. We talked about this a little bit.
We'll be talking about that, yeah.
Is find that niche, find that thing that only you can provide, or find what's your hyperfixation. I guarantee you're not the only one. Talk about that. Specificity is currency.
Yeah, back in the day, I hate saying it, but it's true, like niche to grow rich, right? They always say the more specified you are, it's callous to put in terms of money, but in terms of followers and kind of getting people to understand, like we were talking before, you look up Disney, 1.4 million hashtags for Disney, but Disney medleys, yeah, it's you.
And that's what's fun about the combo of all of it, because there are other people who do Disney music at an incredibly high level.
Yeah.
There are a bunch of people who do Disney voices or Disney impressions at an incredibly high level. The thing I'm able to do is combine them all and put forth a show, both digitally and then eventually leading to my actual live shows, that I'm able to be this kind of, I'm like like 21st century Dapper Dan, it feels like. I'm able to just be this little song and dance man for this stuff we like.
I want to talk about the live shows, but before we
Sure.
do, I just want to take a quick step back in terms of the medleys because it's such a fascinating thing. And it's, again, it's such an incredible thing to be able to do. It makes my
I'm
head
happy
hurt.
to get nerdy about it, believe
Yeah.
me.
It just, I guess, from walk me through, like, how does for the obscure Disney melodies, what was the genesis of that? How'd you like, hey, I could write a song about this? And we talk about the process, how it came to be, how it musically came to be, how long it took you to do it. I just would love to get inside your head to figure out how it came from concept to reality and how long it took.
Yeah, you're talking about obscure Disney songs A through Z? Is that
Correct.
what you're talking about?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
So that, crazy enough, that's the most viral medley, and that was my second medley. I've now made 30 medleys. That was
Yeah, okay.
number 2.
What was number 1?
The Defunct Land one.
Okay, that's right. That's right. Yeah, yeah.
And that was retroactively posted, but this was the first one I made with any sort of information,
Yeah.
having seen how the first one acted. So it immediately, again, with the light bulb going off of this is a game, this is a challenge, I wanted to lean full force into that.
Yeah.
Because there are a few things that I know about internet culture as just somebody on the internet. Like I said, people like to be challenged.
Yeah.
And people love a list, whether it's a top 10 list.
I love a list.
Because
Love it.
you know the structure now. Suddenly there's a little bit of known within the unknown of whatever content you've just clicked on. And doing an A to Z felt like a challenge unto itself, because you can name 10 obscure Disney songs, but then once you get to X and Q, and it's a challenge for myself as well of, can I even fill this song?
Yeah.
I did another A to Z that was Disney character names that were sung, and
That was a great one. I watched it last night. Wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
Wonderful.
And there are one or two Disney characters that start with the letter X, but they're never sung, so they don't count. People are like, what about XR from the TV show Buzz Lightyear Star Command? I'm like, you show me a song in which his name is sung and I will put it in the medley. So the A to Z ones are just a game for myself of, can I complete it?
Yeah.
And then it was just a matter of, this thing is a monster. This thing is 6.5 minutes. It needs to be engaging. It needs to be at a high level from a performance standpoint, because it's long and people on the internet have short attention spans, myself included. And so it was just, okay, the pacing then has to be rapid fire enough that as soon as you guess the song that you hear, we move on. And I will say there was a tiny bit of rage bait in that song, which I think helped it, which is I say obscure Disney songs, and then I start with Agatha All Along, which is objectively, it like hit a Billboard chart. Like, it is not an obscure song. And so immediately it creates a sense of, oh, this is going to be terrible. I'm going to be so much smarter. And then I hit you for B, the Ballad of Big Thunder Mountain, which is a song that has been played in the parks 2 days, the opening of Disneyland's and Walt Disney World's respectively. And people go, oh, never mind. Like, now I have to tune in. Maybe I'll learn something here. So it was, again, it was just like, I'm going to throw everything at this because I don't know what's going to stick. And it worked.
Yeah. Appreciate that. And so you kind of mentioned the live shows. It's obvious. So it's very engaging and fun to watch it online. And like you said, you're gamified, you're involved in TikTok. What gave you the idea to bring this to the people? Was it feedback from the internet? Was it something you came up with yourself? I would love to hear about how it became from watching you on screen to watching you live performing.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. And it really came from, it just came from the fact that I never intended to be an internet personality. I never intended it. I still don't really think that's the goal. The goal is just to be a musician, to be a performer, to be a writer. And it just so happened that's where the audience was online. And I had been doing this music on the internet for about 2 years, and life was returning to normal a bit. And I had gotten to about 2 years, and I was like, I've developed this incredibly deep catalog of work. It's being seen by people, which is crazy, because it's just, for me, it's my live-in resume that happens to be enjoyable to an audience. And I was like, if I want to keep doing this, what is the next step? Because I'm never going to be a boots on the ground vlogger because I'm a musician. I'm never going to be a documentarian or a YouTube essayist. I'm a musician. So what's the next step for a musician? And I'm like, I've built a very niche set of content. I think doing it in person is the next step because that'll, from a professional standpoint, it really shows where my focus is. It shows that is the goal. There are other people that I am friends with and that I see and that I respect that their whole career is centered around online. And that's just not where I fall. It's not a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's just my own priorities. I love getting on a stage and interacting with a group of people who want to see a thing. And that was, I got a push from my friend Tyler Tafoya, who ended up being one of my producers on the show, to just be like, you know what, you have an audience. If you make a thing, people will probably show up. And that was terrifying to not know that. But then it did. People showed up, and 5 shows later, they've all sold out, which is I'm incredibly grateful for. And to have people that I can refer to as fans is wild. Even say it, because I am a fan of all of this stuff. I am a Disney fan. I am a Disney Parks, Disney Music fan. And to have people who come to my shows and say that I am the way that they got into that, or that I am the way that they are able to interact with this fandom, that is, not only is it very fulfilling, but it's also proof of concept, right? That's what I was trying to do.
Totally.
That's all I was trying to do, was interact with this stuff. And so to see people interacting with my stuff the way that I was interacting with this stuff was just, it was so fulfilling. And it continues to be.
And talk about the live show a bit. Like, it's you, obviously, but you also bring special guests in as well. Kind of talk about how the show pans out, what it involves.
Yeah, the show, I call it a one-man show, but it's never a one-man show. It's a Noah and Friends show, and I love the fact that it is.
Yeah.
The first show was a little more of a variety show, but now it really has turned into an actual show with a through line and a thesis and a takeaway about why this music means so much to us and why do we all like this stuff enough to pay for a ticket to see some guy perform these songs. There is a reason beyond me that this stuff hits.
Yeah.
It's why is this my career? Why do you have a podcast about it? Why are people coming on the podcast to talk about it?
Yeah.
Why does this stuff impact us? And I really try and use my own story of being a fan and being a musician to unravel that within the show and I talk about the Disney Park CDs a lot.
Yeah.
And people hoot and holler because that's a universal experience. Nobody grew up going to Disneyland every day. They grew up wanting to go to Disneyland every day. And one of the ways that you're able to do that is by reading the Birnbaum's books and listening to the CDs and reading the Imagineering field guides. And it's so universal. I talk about that in the show. And forgive me, I'm on my soapbox a little.
No, this is great.
That's why I made the show, is because I think so many of us, and I say us because I know it was me and I imagine it was you, at some point was like, I've got to be the only one that likes it this much. Whether you're 15 or 30 or 50 is, I've got to be, nobody knows about this stuff. Nobody cares, especially pre-internet. It's like, there's no books on this. There are no TV shows dedicated to this. The art of Disney animation, where if you're lucky, there is figure sculpting and you're like, oh, that's close to an animatronic. And so a lot of what the show is saying, no, there's a full community here. Look at all of us being together, celebrating this thing. The fact that when I say, I keep bringing it up because I have a history with it, but the fact that I can say, you all know Listen to the Land, right? And the audience cheers. It's like, that is something I never thought when I was 8 listening to that song that I would encounter, ever. And it's like, you talk about the Sherman Brothers like they're rock stars. You talk about these people like they are our rock stars. And to be in a room with that, I would want to go to that show even if it wasn't mine. And that's the goal with the shows.
I love that, and I
didn't answer about the.
You did. It's okay because I think that there's another thread I want to pull on because again, you and I talked before. I started the podcast because I was at the show, the Disney 100 years of magic, right? And again,
Yes.
sitting there with the Seattle Symphony, which playing live music, showing vignettes from these movies, and everyone's choking up and everyone's crying. And it's like I thought that I was the only idiot doing it, but I'm looking around. Nope, I have 2,000 other people doing it with me, which is the power of music. So I
Absolutely.
kind of want to, you talked about the emotional power and why everyone's doing the same thing. So I want to ask you a couple of questions about that. I guess first let's start philosophically. All right. Or
Sure.
musically. Yeah. What is it about Disney music that is so powerful to us? Why? What is it either musically, emotionally, compositionally? What does it? Why we all feel the way we do about it?
I think, to put it absurdly simply, I think it's hope and joy.
Yeah.
I think those are the characteristics that I can point to any Disney song that hits and say this is unbridled hope and this is unbridled joy, which is reflected in the Disney parks experience as a whole, right? That is, it's the perfect world that never existed. It's the Main Street. People talk about Main Street and Walt wanting to recreate his hometown. That's not really true. He created the childhood that he didn't experience.
Yeah.
It's the aspirational aspect of it. Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow is not saying that things are perfect now, but it's saying that, oh, the future, if we want it to, can be better. There's an aspirational aspect that, to me, hits straight to my heart center. That is the hope that things can be good. It's not even necessarily saying that right now is good. Look at all the music for both Epcot and Tomorrowland, which are by far the largest bucket of original parks music.
That's right.
Epcot
Yeah.
and Tomorrowland,
For sure.
which are kind of father and son because it's both looking towards the future. You got the cornerstone, which is Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow, but then you also have One Little Spark. You
Yeah.
also,
Both Sherman Brothers.
yeah, and the
Exactly.
Sherman Brothers were kings of this. Simple,
Yeah.
singable, and sincere were their
Yeah.
3 rules. And boy, does that hold true to anything you write in the parks. It has to be digestible because you're inundated with things. You are overstimulated a lot in a theme park. And so to have a song that is able to cut through the noise and say, this is a hope for a brighter future. This is I think Happily Ever After is a home run.
Yeah.
That is a clear call to action for you to do something that will make your life better, or you can do the thing if you do it. It is a call to action, which is, I think, very integral to all of these songs as well. And Unbridled Hope and Joy, I think, is the crux. With all of these fireworks shows, with all of these ride songs, with very rare exception. Call me a liar, but that's
No.
That's what I think is
you're
the
right.
cornerstone.
I think joy, I think wonder, I think nostalgia, I think
Oh, sure.
hopefulness. I think all those things all work together. And so that leads to a question. I've watched you play the obscure Disney A to Z live, and there's songs where audiences react to certain songs that you
crazy.
play more than others. So what
Yeah.
songs have you seen or heard that elicit that kind of reaction? One I heard comes to mind, but I don't want to tell you what I think. I want to hear what you think about it.
I am interested if it's one of the few I bring up. The one that comes to mind immediately is the Goodbye song.
That's exactly that's the one.
Without fail.
That's the one.
Every show, doesn't matter the audience. It doesn't even have to be at my show. I can do it's one of my most popular medleys, so I will perform it at a bunch of events. Without fail, the 18 to 28 audience just it hits them at their core.
You hear the gasp. You hear the applause.
Right.
Yeah, it's like stop. It's like a showstopper.
And it's so funny because my parents or my older colleagues or mentors, they're like, I don't know what the heck this song is, but it's gotten quite the response every time. So I guess you're keeping it in. And I'm like, yeah, because again, there's something that song it's obviously very simple and singable and sincere, but there is also a calmness to it, which I think, again, is needed. I think that there is the assumption in pop culture that theme parks are very overstimulating all the time, which is not false. But I do think, like Small World, it's if you can get a song that at its core has a heart of gold and cuts through the noise with a message that is true. Whether Small World is a very sort of cosmic message and the Goodbye song is a very intimate message, but they both sort of, they're sisters in that way, that it's just, it calms you. It slows your
It's
heart
soothing.
rate. That it's like, okay, everything might be okay. And I think that is a feeling that we long for, because all we want in our crazy adult lives is to know that things are going to be okay. And that song, that Goodbye song, reminds us of a simpler time. It pulls on the nostalgia, but it also reminds you to take a day at a time. And, but I can wax poetic about all this. But
No,
it is that.
What that's the one obviously that jumped to me when I saw it, at least online. What other songs have you seen or heard elicit those types of gasps, oohs, ahs, applause, etc.?
When I do my Extinct Attraction songs medleys, that's my favorite one to play, simply because it's all those songs on those CDs. It's the songs that got me into this whole thing in the first place. But it's also one of the most fun to play live, because right before I perform it, every show, I say, cheer for your favorite one that you miss. Cheer for your favorite Extincta song. And it becomes like a sporting event. I'll play a bunch of stuff, and then I'll play something from Captain EO, and just whoosh. It just, and then I'll play a bunch of stuff, and I'll play something from America Sings, and it's, oh, okay, yeah, whatever. And I'll play Miracles from Molecules, and people, and then I'll hit something like Muppet Vision, and then it's just, ooh, people are, you feel an energy. You can feel how people feel about these things, because I hate to say, this sounds more boastful than it means, but like, now I'm the representation. I'm the representation of that thing. You can't get the real thing anymore. So I'm here reheating those nachos for you.
No, you know what it is? It's almost like you're channeling what people are looking for, and you put it into song. It's a beautiful thing. It's like you're the messenger of what they can't see anymore.
That's a much kinder way of saying it than what I just did. But thank you. And that is just so fun, because it's just a love letter from me and everybody else. I at no point do I think I'm the gatekeeper of any of this. But if I can, when was the last time anybody heard these songs live? When I got the incredible fortune to record Listen to the Land for the Disney Parks YouTube,
that's next on my question.
Look at this. This is good. This is how you know it's a good conversation.
Exactly.
When was the last time Disney even mentioned that song?
Yeah.
The fact that they were able to have this idea, and that they were kind enough to call me and use my voice to give this song life for the first time in 30 years. And then if you go to my show, has anybody ever heard this song performed live? I think that's something cool about the live shows, is like at the most recent Florida one, I got to do the first ever live performance of Bob Moline's unused song for the Imagination Pavilion, and then the Sherman Brothers' unused song for the Horizons attraction. Because I did a bunch of research, of course those songs were never performed.
Yeah, why would they be?
Why would they be? But the fact that my producers and my friends and my guest stars and I have been able to create this opportunity to hear them live is so valuable, I think, to this entire community. And I'm so grateful to be the Pied Piper in that respect.
Totally. That's a great way of putting it. All right, but before we even go any further, I want to talk, because you've talked a couple of times about the importance of Listen to the Land, even when you were younger. All right, you said Disney called on you to use your voice. It's not just your voice. It's you looking like me in the 80s, Jufro and everything. Okay. Right. So I got to hear the story about how it happened. It's because that also, by the way, had its own little viral streak going on, because everyone was like, this is amazing. I've never seen it before. So tell us about it. Those who don't know, watch it. You can find it online. I'll put it in the show notes about it, but talk about Listen to the Land and how that came to be.
Yeah. The song Listen to the Land, the attraction Living with the Land
Yeah.
used to be called Listen to the Land, and it had an original song by this songwriter named Bob Moline, who I bear a bit of a resemblance to in that video. And it's interesting because he didn't achieve social rock star status in the Disney community as much as some others. But boy, his fingerprint is all over Epcot. Golden Dreams, Listen to the Land, Canada, You're a Lifetime Journey, Energy, You Make the World Go Round, and an unused song for the Imagination Pavilion.
Yeah.
This man, along with one or two others, is that musical DNA of old Epcot, that old psychedelic. He was the psychedelic sound of Epcot, along with the Sherman Brothers that were the more classic Disneyland sound. And that song existed in the attraction until the early 90s when it became Living with the Land and they took the song out. I don't know why. But then the YouTube channel has been doing these first looks and they've been doing bits. They've been doing skits. And they reached out to me about potentially singing this old song in a tribute to Bob and the great musicians of the 80s on the attraction. And it was like somebody had read my mind about what would be the perfect pitch for myself. And so it was an immediate say less, I'm there.
Yeah.
And we got to record the song and film in the attraction. And again, it was like, when was the last? I think I'm the only person maybe ever, with the exception of maybe Bob Moline himself, to ride a ride with a guitar.
It was the day. It's like a 7.5-minute video, I think.
It's long.
It's amazing. And I didn't realize, by the way, nerdy guitarist I am, it looks like you're a lefty.
I am. I play a guitar upside down.
Yeah. But so you're right. You're on the ride. It's what's going through your head, because this is an important song to you.
Oh.
You're embodying this song like you listened to the CDs way back when. Is that about as close as it came to a dream come true for you in terms of everything aligning?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And I keep telling them, I'm like, there are more extinct songs. You let me know. But it's just the song was recorded. We recorded the audio, and I just needed to do right by the original. It's the second ever official recording of the song. And it's not like it's on streaming or anything, but it's on a Disney official platform. And I just want to make sure that it is up to snuff. And I'm not a guitar player as I am a piano player. So it was like, oh man, I got to get back in shape. And that was I just had to do it right and not do it as a parody, not deviate too much so that it felt like I was taking too much liberty, but also being genuine to myself and what I do with tributes and homages. And I think we struck a really good balance that it feels like the song's grandson is how I feel about it. And then filming it in the ride, that was just over the moon. I got to wear the little booties when I was standing in the sand. And again, it's so, I'm living my 12-year-old's dream. I'm singing the song on the boat before the park opens with a camera in my face. It's
dressed like the musicians.
Crazy. And like, again, if you had told me a year ago that the sentence of you are going to be dressed like that doing this song in this attraction for Disney, that's no, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
You know?
You're lying. Yeah.
So again, I'm so grateful that they knew my work and respected what I do enough that they felt like they could make use of that and to feel like I am paying tribute to it in a loving way and providing insight onto maybe these lesser known songs was really a little pat on the back that maybe I'm doing something right, because at the end of the day, I do my goal, my life's goal is to write songs for the parks. If I wrote a song for a fireworks show or even an attraction, that's just what a world that would be.
Yeah, I totally get that. And I mean, you wrote When Push Comes to Shove.
Oh yeah, listen, if nobody else was jonesing to write a song about a trash can, so I guess I took up the mantle.
And, one other thing I'll say about the Listen to the Land, the tone was just so spot on of the whole video, right?
Oh, sure. And
It
I and
was
I and I will say that was an incredible production team. The entire team that brought me on came to me with that pitch fully formed, and it was just a feast for a nerd.
just loving and respectful, but wink, wink, nod, nod, and fun. And again, like I said, when you posted it, I'm like, holy cow! People were like, "What is this? I can't believe this!" Like, people were just in awe of it happening, both at the novelty of hearing the song again, and B, just this little retro '80s vibe really, really struck a nerve.
It was, and I'm so honored to be the literal face of that video
Yeah,
because, again, I feel like a broken record, but like that's what I would want to see as a
totally.
fan.
Yeah, yeah,
And to be able to do my part to provide that is so cool.
yeah. Um, I'll ask you. I want to be cognizant of your time, but I can ask a couple more questions just to kind of get to the heart of some things, like almost a speed
You're
round,
really
if you will.
pulling my leg. You're really you're making this hard for me talking about the things I like.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I'm so sorry about that. Yeah, you mentioned some like, obviously, Listen to the Land is important to you. What other Disney songs mean the most to you? Which ones
Oh
create that
goodness.
awe and hope and wonder for you?
Well, I mean, Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow is the cornerstone
Yeah,
of all of the park's music. I don't think that's a hot take. I think that's the thesis of the parks. It's the thesis of so much of what Walt himself preached. It's a thesis of the park's experience as a guest and you know, what one could take out of the experience, what I like to take out of the experience. Um I love the second Energy song, the Universe of Energy song. It's so much a time capsule. It's so groovy and so indicative of where the company was at. I love Miracles from Molecules just because I think that's the Sherman Brothers. I think it sounds so Sherman Brothers-y.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
If I often use it as a reference for whenever I'm writing anything that's indicative of the Sherman Brothers. From a purely nostalgia standpoint, Wishes has my whole heart. Wishes has that, and I don't know what I would ever do with it from a content standpoint because it's slow, pensive songs don't really work well on the internet. But I love that song, and it's so much of a fingerprint of my childhood and so
Yeah,
many of us that grew up in the 90s and early 2000s. That deceptive cadence, Make a Wish and Do as Dreamers Do, hitting the minor 6,
yeah,
major 2/7, is so, it hits right to my heart.
yeah. That's great.
And then anything, I'm trying to think of other songs. I love Ballad of Big Thunder Mountain because nobody knows it. And I get to always, at my shows, I say, well, how many people didn't know about this song before I keep blabbing about it? Now, how many of us know? And it's the entire theater. And yeah, those are the big ones. I'm sure as soon as we stop recording, I'll be like, oh my God, I can't believe
How
I
could I forget to
forgot
do
this one.
these ones? How about favorite couple of Disney movies? Which ones are the ones that you?
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, the boring but correct answer is Beauty and the Beast. I think that's as close to perfect of an animated film
yeah,
as you can get, and just the poster child for the animated musical for sure. Um, Guilty pleasure. I
yes.
love Home on the Range.
Interesting.
I
Alan Menken, few realize wrote that.
Yes, I've had the great pleasure to work uh with Alan on a live event once, and I made sure
Wow.
to tell him that I
Yeah.
loved Home on the Range.
Oh, good for you.
He, somebody's gotta.
Yeah.
But Alan, I can't say enough good things about him. Not musical, but I love the Pirates franchise.
Uh,
Favorite film franchise in the
totally.
world. I say not musical, but boy, what a strong score.
What a score.
Um, and then I love Toy Story 2.
Toy Story 2, classic.
Those are
Classic.
those are my go-to Disney. Those are my evergreen
Yeah.
films.
Yeah. I as I agree. I've always been more towards the Renaissance, but more and more these days, Pixar is hitting me in all kinds of different ways. I
Oh
think that
goodness, yeah.
I think Coco to me as a guitarist,
Oh yeah.
I think Coco, and I talk about this a lot on the podcast, and everyone who's listening is probably like, he's talking about Coco again. I think that the last 10 minutes of Coco uh, rivals the first 10 minutes of Up as to
Oh, I completely agree.
the most
I
powerful musical and storyline combination. Forget it. Game over,
When
man.
that final song comes on, I've never watched it without crying.
No,
And
me
I'm
too.
not a huge crier, but
I
I
am.
am a happy
I am.
crier.
Yeah, yeah.
I love a redemption story. I love a people things have been righted story, and just that film puts all of these pieces in place
Yeah.
for that last song to just break you
Oh,
in a good way.
in a good way.
It's probably the most intense happy cry I've had in the last few movie watches.
I agree. We even, and again, same thing. We went to go see Coco performed live with the Seattle Symphony, and
Cool.
it was, by the way, they had brought a mariachi band to play. It was the actual orchestra, and they brought a separate mariachi band to play some of the songs. And of course, at the end, when Remember Me happens, my wife, my daughter look at me like, "Oh, it's going to happen," and it happened. It
I
happened.
got the incredible good fortune to work on Coco live to concert at the Hollywood Bowl.
Oh,
And
amazing!
and
Oh,
thank goodness I was busy during the last 15
oh my
minutes
gosh!
prepping, because don't let me pay attention to that part. But that's how I just to put an end to that one story. That's
Mm.
how I worked with Alan Menken, as I worked on the Little Mermaid live to concert there as well.
Oh, that is spectacular. That is, I am.
Oh, and it was.
Yeah.
I'm just thrilled to be a part of that.
Yeah, well, it's amazing. Yes, what are you working on now, and how can people find you?
Well, you can find me on all social medias that I'm currently on as at Noah Sunday-Lefkowitz. If you search Noah Sunday, the Lefkowitz part will be filled in. And the thing I'm working on right now that's gotten me really excited is I'm finally working on an album. I have online a series that I've been doing for a few years now, that I write songs for attractions that don't have songs, People Mover, Jungle Cruise, things of that nature, and I finally have enough to make an album of them. And so
Amazing.
it is called Noah's Theme Park Songs That Weren't. It doesn't have a release date yet, but we're working on expanding the songs that were written originally for TikTok, writing a bunch of new songs. We got a Superstar Limo song coming.
Fun.
We've got an original Disneyland submarine voyage song coming out. These are all things that haven't been posted yet, but I'll tease them on here, as well as the People Mover song and the Jungle Cruise song and the Jingle Cruise song and the Muppet movie ride song and things of that nature. And it's been a labor of love. I did not know that the album would be a thing when I started the series, because I
Yeah.
just started it online trying to write like my heroes, like Bob Moline and the Sherman Brothers and everything like that. But now I'm getting the band of Disney nerds together to make this album, and it'll come out some point soon. But when it does, rush to my socials and buy it.
Well, I will. What we'll do? How about this? Well, I'll post all your socials in the show notes, and when you're close, come back on and talk about it. We'll
Oh,
tease
that's
it.
so kind of you.
We'll tease it and break it down.
I will tell you all the little hidden references in the songs that I have hidden in there for Disney nerds to see if they can pick out.
We will then. We'll figure out when it comes out. When it does come back on, we'll talk about it. But in the meantime, one other question: any live dates coming up for you?
Not anything publicly announced. I'm music directing. I don't know if it's been announced yet, but
No?
I'm working on a fall themed show
Okay.
that I believe is going to be October 26th. I'm not headlining, but I will be music directing.
Amazing.
And
That's excellent.
I'll continue to be vague because I don't want to.
Sure. No, I get it. I
I
get it.
don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but it's with a close collaborator of mine that I love working with, and he puts on a great show, and I put on, I hope, a great show, and so
Yes, you do.
putting on a show together for the spooky season is very exciting. That'll be in the fall in the Anaheim area. And I did a holiday show last year, and I'm hoping to bring that back again. I don't know what form it'll exist in, but I'm starting to have conversations. So if you came to my holiday show and you liked it, let me know so I can do it again.
That is awesome. We will keep eyes and ears open for that. I will make sure people know where to find you. And like I said, hope to have you back on soon when that album comes out.
Oh, I would be happy to talk to you. It's been an absolute joy, and I love getting to nerd out with this stuff. I keep saying I just am a fan with a platform. So to talk to another fan with a platform is a delight.
It's wonderful. Well, thank you so much. I will talk to you soon, and good luck with everything.
Thank you so much. Talk to you later.
All right.
Somewhere that's green, seaweed is always greener in somebody else's lake. You dream about going up there, but that is a big mistake. Just look at the world around you, right here on the ocean floor. Such wonderful things around you. What more is you looking for? You're under the sea, under the sea.
Thank you again to Noah Sunday-Lefkowitz for his time and for sharing his incredible stories. Please check him out on his social channels or his live performances, and I will put all of his information in the show notes so you can find him and follow him. And now on to Disney music news for this week. First thing is a couple of D23 announcements. If you're not familiar with D23, that's Disney's fan convention. It's called D23, the Ultimate Disney Fan Event, and it's going to be kicking off this year, August 14th in Anaheim. And D23, the official Disney fan club, announced an amazing slate of offerings in the musical variety happening over the course of the weekend coming up the 14th, 15th, 16th. The first one is called a Disney Rewind concert. And the way Disney mentions it is don't miss the ultimate throwback event showcasing the very best Disney hits of the 80s and 90s. Relive the magic of VHS vibes with this live mixtape concert spanning Powerline, Disney Afternoon, The Muses, and more, brought to life by Disney Broadway and animation stars, rock concert lighting, and larger-than-life visuals. For those of you who are going to be at D23, the show premieres at 7 p.m. on Friday, August 14th, with an encore performance at 6:30 p.m. on Saturday, August 15th. The cast that's going to be performing all these songs include Jarrett Dixon, who is Simba from Broadway, Alicia Fox, who's Broadway's Elsa, Ariel Jacobs, Broadway's Jasmine, Josh Strickland, Broadway's Tarzan, and Raina White, Broadway's Sarabi from The Lion King, with special appearances by Disney legends Bill Farmer, who's the voice of Goofy, Jodie Benson, of course, who's the voice of Ariel, and 2026 legend recipient Susan Egan, who is the voice of Meg from Hercules. So there's going to be this crazy cool retro concert. It's going to have Broadway stars. It's going to have Disney legends. That in and of itself is amazing. But what I'm particularly excited and psyched about is there's going to be something called The Whole New World of Alan Menken. So, as you all know, Disney legend and 8-time Academy Award winner Alan Menken is going to share the songs and the stories behind them in a rare one-man concert event called The Whole New World of Alan Menken. From Beauty and the Beast, A Whole New World, Colors of the Wind, and Go the Distance to beloved stage and screen musicals that have become cultural landmarks, his music has shaped generations of audiences around the world. Just to give you a little bit of idea of what he's written, I kind of mentioned him from the songs, but his body of work, which truly is extraordinary, includes from the very beginning, Little Shop of Horrors, not a Disney property, but one of my all-time favorite musicals and favorite soundtracks. But from a Disney perspective, almost everything from the Disney Renaissance, The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Pocahontas, Hercules, Enchanted, Tangled, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Newsies, and so many more. The show is written by Alan Menken himself and directed by his agent Richard Kraft, with additional material by Kraft and Jennifer Lucy Cook. The show will be taking place at 6 p.m. on Sunday, August 16th. And one of the things I played at the top of the segment was him performing a 10-minute medley, which I'll post a link to. So just to give you an idea of everything he's done, what he's capable of doing, I cannot wait to see that. It is going to be absolutely incredible. If you are going to D23, please let me know. The only other thing I want to have on the radar Interestingly enough, as the live-action Moana is just been released, they're already talking, or The Rock has already brought up the possibility of Moana 3. So Disney appears to be coming back to the water with Moana 3. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, who plays the tattooed demigod Maui, teased this news while promoting Moana. He says, quote, "Yes, we've talked about Moana 3 at a press conference in Brazil, but first, live-action Moana, we'll let that come out first. We have the amazing Jared Bush and Dana LeDoux Miller, who've been our writers. They will pen Moana 3. Nothing is confirmed yet, but Johnson and Alau E. Carvalho, who's the original voice of Moana, are expected to reprise their roles and the threequel as Maui and the eponymous Polynesian heroine. The original story, as we all know, revolves around the strong-willed daughter of a village chief who is chosen by the ocean to restore prosperity to her island. Lin-Manuel Miranda, who wrote hits such as How Far I'll Go When You're Welcome for the first film, didn't return for the follow-up, Moana 2, instead passing songwriting duties to Abigail Barlow and Emily Bear. But in terms of what's happening for the third installment, we still do not know who will be writing the music. It's still so early in the production and development process, but as I hear and we hear things, I'll be sure to let you know. And that is actually it for Disney Music News for this week. That is it for this episode of the Music Behind the Magic podcast. Thanks again to Noah Sunday-Lefkowitz for joining us, and thanks to all of you all around the world for listening. Please reach out to me to let me know how you're enjoying the podcast, what you want to hear more about, or really just to say hi. I know there are so many amazing Disney podcasts to choose from, and I am so humbled and grateful that you have chosen to spend your valuable time with me. I look forward to speaking with you all again very soon, but until then, have a magical musical day.